Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to talk about the tall ship Elissa. Are you aware of the tall ship Elissa? Okay, that's fine. The square rig bark Elissa was named as official tall ship of Texas in June of 2005 by Governor McCary, according to the Galveston Historical Foundation. She has an amazing history. On Tuesday, January 22nd, 2013, the GuidryNews.com ran an article regarding her latest restoration. Written by James L. White, he passionately describes the hard work that Elissa's restoration involves, both in this restoration as well as the first one in the late 70s and early 80s. Here's a summary of Elissa's history reported by the Galveston Historical Foundation. On 1877, on October 27th, the square rig bark Elissa is launched from the shipyard of Alexander Hall and Company in Aberdeen, Scotland. A trading ship under British flag, she began sailing the world, dealing with small cargoes. With the age of steam about to begin in earnest, she is one of the last of her kind. In 1883, on December 26, Elissa calls upon the port of Galveston with one passenger and a cargo of bananas for sale. 1884, loaded with cotton, Elissa sails from Galveston on January 25th to Liverpool, England. 1886, arriving from Paysandú, Elissa revisits Galveston on September 8th with an unknown cargo, most likely hardwood or sugar. On September 26th, she sails to Pensacola, Florida in ballast. 1897, Elissa's owner, Henry Fowler Watt of Liverpool, sells her to Abuti and Olsen of Norway. She is renamed Fjeld and continues to work with her original rig intact. 1911, Fjeld is sold to Swedish owners. 1912, Fjeld is sold to Carl Johansson of Kalmar, Sweden, and is renamed Gustav. 1918, Gustav is reduced to a barkentine rig, and her first engine is installed. 1930, Gustav is sold to owners from Finland and reduced to a schooner rig. 1936, a new engine, deck house, and bridge are built in the quarterdeck. The bow is snubbed. 1959, Greeks purchased Gustav, renaming her Christophorus. 1963, Peter Throckmorton, a nautical archaeologist, recognizes her in Piraeus, Greece, as an old square rigger. 1964, Carl Partoon of the San Francisco Maritime Museum is made aware of her plights and begins efforts to save her. In 1967, Christophorus is named Archaeos. In 1969, Archaeos is renamed Pioneer. In March, Carl Partoon authorizes Peter Throckmorton to act as the San Francisco Maritime Museum's agent in Greece to help acquire Elissa. 1970, the ship is purchased in November by the San Francisco Maritime Museum for $14,000 US. 1972, acquired by Canadian interests headed by David Bruce in the Victoria, British Columbia. 1975, Galveston Historical Foundation purchases her for the sum of $40,000 US. 1977, with the name Elissa is restored, she is to become a sailing ship once again. A restoration team travels to Piraeus, Greece to make her seaworthy. In 1978, 25% of her original iron hull renewed and clipper bow restored, Elissa is towed to Gibraltar to spend the winter of 78 and 79 at the Royal Navy Yard. 1978, Elissa is placed on the National Register of Historic Places. She is the first object granted this status while outside the territorial limits of the United States. 1979, Elissa finds her new home in Galveston on July 20th. The official welcoming ceremony is held on August 4th. Intensive efforts began to restore her to her full glory. 1980, on October 25th, an orientation session is held to recruit volunteers to serve as adjunct to the Elissa restoration. This was the beginning of the Volunteer Corps, which since 1982 has crewed the vessel and performed the lion's share of the maintenance. 1982, restored in painstaking detail, Elissa greets the public on July 4th as a living tall ship. She sails in the Gulf of Mexico and across 100 years. In 1982, in late August, early September, Elissa embarks on her first day sails in Galveston Harbor. In 1982, Galveston Historical Foundation receives the Texas Award for Historical Preservation from the Texas Historical Commission for distinguished service in the field of historic preservation through the restoration of the bark Elissa as a tall ship for Texas. 1983, Texas Seaport Museum receives 2 Ship Trust Awards from the National Maritime Historical Society, one for the restoration of Elissa and another for its volunteer program. Galveston, in 1984, Galveston Historical Foundation's Elissa Project receives the Preservation Honor Award from the National Trust for Historic Preservation, one of its most prestigious accolades. 1985, the new Elissa makes her first passage as a restored sailing ship to Corpus Christi, Texas. 1986, a new Detroit engine was installed, V12 450 horsepower, and watertight engine bulk room installed. 1986, Elissa joins her maritime kindred when she sails to New York Harbor for the Statue of Liberty celebration and tall ship parade. Among them, she is the oldest of the Class A vessels. 1989, Elissa visits numerous ports from Brownsville, Texas to Pensacola, Florida on the Texas Proud voyage. I have read many times during my research on Elissa that a ship is not restored just once. On Saturday, July 6, 2013, GuidryNews.com published an article detailing some restoration that is being done to the deck. The article was written by Jamie White, director of the Texas Seaport Museum. Mr. White says the deck renewal project is coming along great. He describes the problem with the pitch used for caulking, saying that Jeffries No. 2 has caused buckling. In an article dated Tuesday, July 14, 2012, again from GuidryNews.com, Texas Seaport Museum Director Jamie White reported that FEMA made available almost $1.6 billion to help restore the ship and repair the damage it sustained from Hurricane Ida. The ship is crewed by volunteers. If you want to crew during day sails, you must work a minimum of 130 maintenance hours and attend a series of weekend sail training sessions. Sail training requires concentration, sweat, and study, but it is not a killer. Each class consists of half sail training instruction and half maintenance instruction. You will be chipping rust, sanding teak wood, seizing manila lines, painting, tarring, pine tar, not coal tar, sweeping, scrubbing, carpentering, and oiling. During sail training, you will be pulling lines, tying knots, climbing 90 feet into the rig, straining with your crewmates at the capstan and windlass, singing sea chanties as 10 people raise a yard in unison, walking around the ship over and over while memorizing the placement and use of 180 lines. In conclusion, I have gone into some of the details regarding the Elissa. I've told of the practice of using volunteers to crew the Elissa. The ship is a great source of pride for the city of Galveston and for the state of Texas. That's it. Now you know about it.
Encore.
Next